Is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
My favourite source for royal news, and quite right, not that we're biased. Harry said in his BBC interview that he was forced to step away from royal duty due to security concerns. I thought Harry and Meghan had decided to leave.
Prince Harry is about to lose his royal title, and he's in complete shambles. We're talking full-blown meltdown mode here, folks. The man who once partied in Vegas and wore a Nazi costume to a fancy dress party is now crying over losing a job title. Yes, you heard that right. The same guy who said the royal family was toxic and racist is now desperately clinging to his Duke of Sussex badge like it's the last slice of pizza at a college party.
Catherine, who it sort of embodied that sort of the reaction between them, you know, that a mother's great at getting that really natural, relaxed response from her.
But wait, it gets better. Harry flew back to London, probably economy class because let's be honest, Netflix money isn't what it used to be. And the first thing he does is storm out of a meeting screaming, "They wouldn't dare." Oh, really, Harry? They wouldn't dare? Brother, you literally wrote a book called Spare, where you talked about your frozen Todger and how your brother's bald spot is expanding faster than the universe. What exactly did you think was going to happen? The beautiful irony here is that Parliament, yes, the same Parliament that can't agree on what to have for lunch, somehow found unity in one thing, questioning whether Harry deserves his title. Conservative MP Bob Seeley, who probably hasn't had this much attention since his last boring speech about taxation, suddenly becomes the villain in Harry's Netflix documentary.
What you said, Joe.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
But here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. While Harry's having his royal tantrum in London, Meghan is back in California doing what she does best, assembling a crisis team faster than the Avengers. Sources say she brought in PR specialists, lawyers, and probably a feng shui consultant to realign the energy in their Montecito mansion. The woman who couldn't make a podcast work without complaining about Spotify is now planning her media empire comeback. You know what they call that? Delusional confidence, and honestly, we have to respect the audacity. But let's talk about the real comedy gold here, the royal family's response. King Charles, who's probably dealing with enough drama just figuring out how to use WhatsApp, goes completely radio silent. Prince William? He's busy pretending this whole mess doesn't exist, while Kate's probably Googling how to legally disown in-laws. The palace's official statement was basically the royal equivalent of leaving someone on read. Cold, brutal, but undeniably effective. Now here's where Harry's desperation reaches peak comedy levels. The man who said he wanted privacy and a normal life suddenly realized that without his royal title, he's just another rich guy in California with daddy issues and a book deal. Do you know how many of those there are in Hollywood? It's like being the tallest person at a basketball convention. Not that special anymore. Meanwhile, Meghan's cooking up something called Civility, a lifestyle brand that's apparently where grace meets power. Grace meets power? The woman who allegedly made Kate cry over flower girl dresses is launching a brand about civility. That's like Gordon Ramsay starting a meditation retreat or Kim Kardashian opening a library. The audacity is astronomical, but you know what? It might just work because people love a good redemption arc, even when it's completely manufactured. But wait, there's more. The parliamentary vote was closer than Harry's relationship with his family. It failed by just 14 votes. 14. Half the government was ready to strip this man's title faster than you can say Netflix contract. That's not a victory, that's a warning shot. It's like barely passing a test with a D- and then celebrating like you graduated valedictorian. The funniest part? Harry thought his military service would save him. Veterans were split down the middle, some saying, respect the service, others saying, service means loyalty, not trash-talking your family on Oprah. It became a full-blown debate about whether shooting Taliban in Afghanistan gives you a lifetime pass to roast your grandmother on international television. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Now, let's discuss the absolute masterpiece that is Harry's current state of mind. Sources say he's withdrawn, surfing, and journaling. Journaling. The man who wrote Spare is now keeping a diary like a teenage girl going through her first breakup. Dear Diary, today Parliament almost took my title. I cried into my organic almond milk latte while Meghan planned world domination from our kitchen island. And speaking of Meghan's world domination plans, she's apparently having secret dinners with Oprah, Ellen, and Kerry Washington. It's like the Avengers, but for canceled celebrities trying to stage comebacks. They're probably sitting around a table made of crystals and positive affirmations, plotting their next move against the establishment. The establishment being anyone who questions their relevance. But here's the kicker that nobody saw coming. Netflix is getting cold feet. The streaming giant that gave us Tiger King and countless true crime documentaries is apparently experiencing narrative fatigue with the Sussex brand. When Netflix, the company that will literally film anything, thinks your story is getting stale, you know you've reached rock bottom. They've basically been told their fairy tale has gone flat, which in Hollywood speak means update your LinkedIn profile. The most hilarious part of this entire circus is that Harry and Meghan thought they could have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to leave the royal family, but keep the titles. They wanted privacy, but signed massive media deals. They wanted to be normal, but kept dropping royal bombshells every few months. It's like quitting your job in a dramatic fashion, burning all the bridges, and then being shocked when they don't invite you to the company Christmas party. And let's talk about the children, Archie and Lilibet. These kids are going to grow up with the most confusing identity crisis in history. Mommy, why don't we live in a castle if Daddy's a prince? Well, sweetheart, Daddy wrote a book about his private parts, and now nobody wants to play with us anymore. Try explaining that at parent-teacher conferences. The irony is that Harry spent years complaining about media intrusion and royal protocols, and now he's desperately trying to cling to the very system he claimed was suffocating him. It's like breaking up with someone, spending months telling everyone how toxic they were, and then sliding into their DMs asking if they want to grab coffee. The desperation is palpable, and frankly, it's embarrassing to watch. What makes this whole situation even more ridiculous is that Meghan saw this coming from miles away. She warned Harry, but he was too busy believing his own press to listen. Now she's pivoting to Silicon Valley money while he's still stuck in the past, wondering why his family doesn't love him anymore. It's like watching someone ignore GPS directions and then acting surprised when they end up lost in a parking lot. The palace's strategy of silence is absolutely brutal and genius at the same time. They're not even dignifying this mess with a response. It's the royal equivalent of the new phone. Who dis? Text. Charles is probably sitting in Buckingham Palace with his tea, reading the headlines and thinking, I'm too old for this drama. Meanwhile, William's out there being the perfect future king while his brother's having a public breakdown across the pond. But here's the real question everyone's asking. What happens next? Harry's considering disappearing completely, which honestly might be his smartest move yet. Meghan's launching her empire with or without him. The royal family's pretending they don't exist. And Parliament's just sitting there like, we almost stripped a royal title, and all we got was this lousy constitutional crisis. The funniest part about this entire saga is that Harry and Meghan have become exactly what they claim to hate. Celebrities desperate for attention, relevance, and validation. They've gone from royalty to reality TV stars without the self-awareness to realize it. They're like those people who say they hate drama while simultaneously creating it everywhere they go. So there you have it, folks. Prince Harry, the man who had everything, threw it all away for love, fame, and Netflix money, and now he's discovering that actions have consequences. Who could have seen that coming? Besides literally everyone with functioning brain cells, apparently. The moral of the story? Sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. Sometimes it's just AstroTurf, and you're stuck paying